All right, well, welcome back, Brad. We're going to talk about stress testing your retirement plan or your savings. This keeps coming up. People are talking about it right now, but I don't
Yeah.
really understand it. So can you give me the dumbed down version? What does it mean to stress test your portfolio?
Yeah.
Are they eating pencils in the corner or something?
Right. Yeah. Actually, we use the term quite a bit too with people that are kind of taking another look and feel like they should take another look. And it's called stress test your wealth plan.
Okay.
See, a lot of people already have investments, they have insurance, they have things kind of in place, and they're not really sure how those will line up or if they're lined up correctly. Maybe they have, 4 or 5 people that are doing this stuff for them, and they're not talking to each other and what's going on. And so, what we will do is do a stress test, and we'll sit down with a couple, and we'll go through a 90-minute conversation. And we're asking questions that a lot of them haven't answered before. Things like, do you know anyone famous? And what's your take on owning pets? And all these different kind of values-based questions. It's odd. I've had people look at me, why do you want to know it? Do you attend church? Those type of things. But we really, really get to peel back the onion, so to speak, and find out what's really important to them. After this 90-minute conversation, then we'll go back. Our team will go back and kind of analyze that data and they'll bring in financial statements and things like that. And then be able to test whether their current investments, insurance, and things like that are really going to stand up to what they want to have happen based upon their values and goals for the future.
Okay.
So they could say one thing about their family, but their insurance policy could be doing another thing, meaning not really filling that bucket or taking care of that item for them. So all a stress test is, it's a second opinion, basically, but it's taking a look and not ripping apart everything somebody's already did, but just testing it based upon those values and goals that they have. And I've had a lot of people look at me and say, no, I've never been through anything like that, but when we're done, we deliver for them back those answers to them in a nice color-looking sheet that basically shows their life in a nutshell in these bubbles that go around the circles that we spend that 90 minutes on. And they really, really appreciate it. And that some of them have even taken it and went through it with their kids.
So you have like a whole formula for the stress test. It's not, here's the high and here's the low, here's the 2 numbers, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
It's way more in depth if you're asking about pets.
And it's not all numbers. It's all about values and goals. And some, obviously, the numbers are important too. But as you walk through what's important, life events, worst financial decision, best financial decision, how do you want to be contacted? Is it quarterly or monthly or yearly? How often you want to have meetings? What's your ideal weekend? All these different questions that are out there. And what it really does is it allows the client to truly understand that whole picture. And now we take all this stuff that's built around it, like 401k plans and IRAs and Roths and insurance policies and all that, and we test it against what they truly want to have happen, and then get back together and give those results to them.
So is this
pretty
something,
cool.
Is this something that you're doing with clients right off the bat, or is this something that after 2 years of them being with you, then you'll go ahead and do a stress test? Where does it fit into 5-year clients, 10-year? How does it fit in with that?
It's a really good question. So we can't do it for everybody, and not
Sure.
everybody wants to go through it. It kind of depends on the complexity of their situation, net worth, and all that stuff that figures into there. Inheritance coming, kids divorce, all that stuff goes in there. But so it happens sometimes after they've been clients because we haven't been through it. Or on the front end, if somebody comes to us and wants that stress test, then it happens right away. And we have that conversation. And then after we get back together, after a couple weeks, after we go through everything, then it's really a mutual commitment. Do we want to work together or not work together? But it's really about giving them a second opinion and testing their plan.
So will you do this for clients, or will you do this for people that aren't clients?
Yes. Yep.
So if somebody just says, hey, I'm working with Joe Schmo over here, will you give me a second opinion, so to speak? They can come in and write you a check.
Yeah.
And you'll take them through this process.
Yeah. And it's really not about just checking against one person. It's their entire plan. So they have several people in their life that are doing different things for them. It's just taking a look at the whole picture in one spot, and then to be able to say, here are some gaps that you might want to work on, and then do we want to work together or not work together? But yeah, we've had a lot of people that have been through this saying, hey, my cousin Jimmy needs to sit down with you and go through this conversation, this 90-minute conversation, and stress test his plan. And so that's it's a lot of it's just word of mouth and just taking care of people. But anyway, it's kind of a buzzword out there, kind of interesting topic, and not everybody does it. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. Not everybody can do that process. And I don't have the questions memorized, Matt. I'm sitting there with, these 40 questions on it as we go through. But it's really, really fun to take the time and do it.
To do that with
Yeah.
people. Well, thank you so much, and we learned a little bit about stress testing.
You bet.